Double bind.
Double bind.
Double bind.
Double bind.
Double bind.
But speaking of novelty, let's talk about the novelty of Oprah being shocked that Meghan Markle and her husband, formerly Prince Harry, are shocked that the family's concerned about the kids' skin tone and all this racism involved in the whole family. I know, Bugs, you wanted to address that. What were your thoughts in this whole scenario with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and the baby?
I think that I don't know if Oprah was necessarily shocked that someone in the White House, someone. So I don't think she was shocked that someone, I guess it would work both ways, right? Someone in Buckingham Palace would refer to the baby, how dark is the skin going to be? I don't think Oprah was shocked at that. I think she was shocked that Meghan said it. Because if you think of all the scandals that the royal family, that institution has embarked on for centuries, they've always been covered up. There's always been watered down. There's always been some sort of spokesperson that will shift the narrative in the tabloids so we don't get the actual essence of the truth. But Meghan actually sat there. She paused for a moment and then she said it. Mm-hmm. So Oprah, I think, was shocked at the delivery and the fact that, you're actually giving me a firsthand account of what actually transpired between yourself, your husband, and that family. And you didn't water it down. You didn't hold back. So I think that's why she was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I wasn't shocked again, and maybe I was shocked for the same reason I'm thinking Oprah was. But again, it's an institution that it has a deep rooted legacy in colonialism. So,
but they have black blood in them.
Yeah,
Queen Charlotte. It was off.
Thank you.
It's an institution based on bloodlines. Of course, it's how shocked can you really be?
Multiple hospitals and institutions named after. Yeah, she's from Haiti not Haiti, Martinique, perhaps, or Guadeloupe. Yeah, definitely black. 1700s. I think she was George II's wife. But Google her, you'll see pictures. She's definitely.
And not to throw this in there, but they kind of paid homage to that in like the Bridgerton series.
Sucks. Thumbs down. So Zoe, I'm just curious, what's like for your friends and the people around you? How concerned are they about this whole quote unquote scandal with?
Quote unquote scandal. It's been a lot, Like I really didn't want to watch the thing, but I did for the show, and I'm still kind of like recovering from it. But I don't know. No, they didn't say anything that we wouldn't have expected beforehand. I guess the shocking thing was Meghan's surprise at any of it. Like, it's a bit like volunteering to work in a sewer and then being surprised that you smell of shit. Like, what did you expect? It was
right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Exactly. That's Zoe. That's the same thing I was saying. Did she think marrying into the royal family is going to be like, a picnic? Like, what was she really thinking? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you really shocked that the royal family is going to be cold and oppressive to your black ass? I'm not.
Sneed, do you think the fact that Twaz just said, your black ass, do you think Meghan is identifying herself as a black woman? Or do you,
I get otherwise.
Definitely.
She's definitely being treated. She's definitely being treated as a black woman, but I think she identifies as other. I don't think she identifies as black.
I think she found her black card at Buckingham Palace. Yeah. That's what I think she realized how black she was.
And also, I don't think she said black once during the interview. She said
did not.
Yeah, she never said black.
Mixed.
She did it. She's biracial.
But I think aside from that, I feel sorry for her. But I think what we are shocked about is just it's just the level of racist outpouring in response. Like, that's the issue. For me, like, 2 millionaires, like the fact that they had to seek refuge in Tyler Perry's house, my heart doesn't bleed for them that much. But the way in which people have just been denying that there's an issue. Like, how dare they speak out against the Queen? We're not racist. How dare they? It's a real crap show here.
Mm.
Yeah, the monarchy is a racist institution. If I would argue it was one of the first racist institutions. And I will say the backlash in the media from Piers Morgan, and they're having a lot of UK political commentators, Kelechi is one of them, that is constantly on CNN to talk about this all week. And it's like, this is not news. And one of the CNN correspondents framed a question to Kelechi, and she had to correct him. He was like, this is a new conversation that's happening over there in the UK. And she said, no. This is not new. This is only new because you're hearing it from the lens of a high profile public figure who happens to be Black. But this is a conversation that's been going on forever. And then he corrected himself. So just the fact that there are newscasters, the beast that is the media, phrasing this conversation as a new one is actually troublesome.
Yeah. And also one that they don't think should be happening. They're like, how dare you? How dare you speak out about race? How dare you feel that you have a right to speak?
That is kind of built into the British culture, right? Decorum and the way you look to the public.
Yeah, right? Like it's poor form to speak out, but it's even more poor form to speak out as a Black woman and an American. Like that's just completely not what they do.
Do you think it would be less backlash if she were not actually American? Oh, wait, is she American or Canadian? American. Do you think there would have been less backlash if she was actually British born?
Well, I think the thing is, the factor that comes into play is class. So even if you look at Kate Middleton, who everyone now is saying got less of a hard time than Megan, when she first joined the family, the press were outraged that she was a commoner, like the fact that she was middle class, that her parents actually had jobs, like they totally dragged her for years on end. So I think a British person, they would have just known that you're not going to change an institution. They would have had zero entitlement and they would have just played along. So it's kind of hard to say what would have happened if it was a British person, because a British person never would have thought to challenge an 800-year-old institution. So I think she's got some balls. I think she's totally deluded, but I think she also has some balls to think that she could have,
gone in and changed the system. Yeah. How many of us here believe that she was actually naive?
Absolutely.
When she had no clue.
When she sat there and said she didn't Google.
She said it in her own words.
When she sat there and said she did, Oprah asked her, did you Google, did you research the monarchy, the royal family before? And she said, no. And I didn't know how to curtsy, and I didn't know how to do all those things. And I was like, you, in this day and age, like if we meet someone now, we're going on their socials, we're going on Google, we're looking, we're researching, we're checking a person out to make sure that they're not a crazy person before we actually go on our first date with them, especially in the dating app generation, which we was talking about at the beginning of this podcast. But now here you're saying that you didn't Google Harry, you weren't aware. I mean, you probably may have known what happened to his mom, but you didn't check any sources.
Let me tell you something.
Going into that. I don't believe
bullshit. Bitch, I know you watched the Princess Diaries with Anne Hathaway. I know you watched that bullshit. Please, everybody's seen that movie. Everybody knows that is the type of things that they do in Royal Society, like even like Cotillion, even like those types of organizations. You didn't know you had to do that? Hell, I don't curtsy, and I know you have to do that if you meet a queen. Come on now. Come on.
So a little interesting tidbit in regards to what you're saying, Sneed. So, and this is something funny enough, I had to revisit this for this story simply because I read this in 2019 in a fit of boredom. There was a tabloid journalist by the name of Katie Hind, and she had a sort of networking meetup with Meghan Markle when she was just kind of coming onto the UK scene. Katie was surprised that Meghan Markle, being an actress in the US and knowing how, the tabloids and paparazzi and the press can work, how she came off as being somewhat naive about the tabloids in the UK itself, with the intent of coming to the UK to raise her public profile. And so she also had, there's a half-white footballer, aka soccer player, by the name of Ashley Cole, and supposedly he hit her up in her DMs, and so she ran Ashley Cole's name by Katie Hines, like, who is this dude? He's checking for me, da-da-da. And Katie Hines was like, nah, he's not really faithful, and he's kind of shit in the press because he's always messing with all these girls, and he was married and got divorced, so leave him alone, da-da-da. And eventually they met up like a day or two later at some other big networking party, and she told another high-profile celebrity, British celebrity by the name of Lizzie Lizzie Cundy. She's like, do you know any famous guys? I'm single and I really love English men. So when I read this 2019 and this shit happened now, I thought of that article I read years ago, and I was thinking, how could she be naive when it sounds like she deliberately wanted to partner with, not that anything's wrong with that, but she deliberately wanted to raise her social profile in society. So in my head, I'm like, how do you go in being kind of like blown away? You're marrying into one of the most, if not the most well-known monarchy in the world. How do you not know what you're getting into?
I agree.
I think there's a difference between the public perception of the monarchy and how it actually runs in practice. I think no one, unless you're part of the gentry, you just don't know the inner workings. And I think, especially if you think of yourself as a celebrity, you're like used to mixing with millionaires and billionaires, you probably think the same rules apply. But as she said, like it's a completely different system. So I have some empathy for her, a small amount of empathy, but not a lot. Not a lot. She could have done better. Also, she's an actress. Don't you guys research roles? Like, I don't know, just
right. Well said.
But maybe it's that light skin privilege, like white passing privilege, that you just kind of think that you'll be welcome.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I think that in itself could be a sort of bubble they live in, you know, and within that sort of spectrum of society and phenotype. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Zoe, coming in from London. Thank you, Bugs from Canada. Thank you, Sneed from Jersey. And of course, thank you, Twaz from Harlem.
See you guys.
This was another episode of The Double Bind. I am your host, Sprinkle. Thank you so much for checking in. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. Follow us on various social media platforms. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and now Clubhouse, as well as all major streaming platforms. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. And we'd love to hear from you, so leave us a comment.